Hey, we are back talking FSU football recruiting. 3 home games out of the last 4 remaining games of the season for Florida State. Next up is North Carolina, and some visitors coming on campus, some intriguing ones at that. Two
Yeah.
Florida commits, Michael, will be here in Tallahassee this weekend. What can you tell us about Gelsey and McLeod?
Yeah, I mean, both of them are I mean, people can read the story, but Jeremiah Cloud, I'll start with him because that's the more probably intriguing one because I think Georgia has been the team that's trended the most in that one. For those that don't know, Jeremiah is from the Gadsden County area. I think he transferred to Lee County, but we didn't see him when he played, so we're assuming he's still there. But he's from Gadsden County, which is like basically like 15 minutes away from Tallahassee. So they've certainly seen him. This is a kid that's been on campus before. He's committed to Florida, but he's been to Georgia. I think he went to Georgia like back-to-back weekends. And then there's been trending things of that Georgia is trending for a flip. So um, I'm just curious if he follows through on that visit that he is set. It is set to officially visit FSU, but whether he follows through because there's been times where he said he's coming and he didn't show. So I've kind of got him on the potential visiting because I don't know about that if he might decide to commit to Georgia before that, but or Georgia might put a push on, and so that's kind of what I'm really monitoring. But he's certainly an intriguing prospect, and certainly they need him basically on the fact that defensive line they've already lost Javion Hillison, and then they lost Myron Charles as well. He flipped to Texas, so Kevin Wynn is another one that's kind of trending. It feels like it's going to be a battle. So to get somebody like Jeremiah will be a big deal. So I think overall, getting him on campus is the first step. If that does happen, I think there's certainly a shot. And then Tay is more of a guy that can play tight end or receiver. FSU likes him at receiver. Florida likes him at tight end. He's bringing his family with his visit. That's the one that I've kind of circled that hey, this could work. Like I said, I've said before in previous videos, this is a guy that is very intrigued by the fact that he could play early, make an impact in this offense, and that they don't have an established number one type guy yet or group. So I think he can make an early impact. So I think both of those guys are certainly very intriguing, but more so at Tay because you don't have a commit at that position. So I think adding him in the fold and flipping him from Florida would be a massive move for FSU and pickup. So they're going to have their chance to impress. I think with Tay Jeremiah, hopefully if he shows up, I think they'll have a chance to make an impression. But Tay's kind of the one out of those two that I would circle that I think like, hey, there's stuff they can work with here, and there's certainly been interest building in that one. So that one's I feel like there's some at least some movement there as far as that FSU could certainly make a push.
I can confirm that Jeremiah McLeod is at Lee County. I went up there a couple weeks ago,
Okay,
saw him play
okay,
coffee, and
there
so
you
he
go.
was there, and he made an impact too.
Okay,
But the entire Lee County defense was locked in that night, so I can't say
yeah,
he really jumped off the page, but he was
yeah,
solid. So
there you go.
yeah, he's up there at Lee County, but as you said, from Gadsden County, and Tate's interesting to me too because I believe I saw him on the hardwood. They took on
Jacksonville.
Rickards in the
Yeah.
state playoffs, so he's an athletic specimen like you kind of outlined there, but.
Hmm.
Who are some other names to know? We talked about the 2 UF commits that are going to be on campus. Who are some others? We're recording this Wednesday, so obviously it can change. So stay tuned to the Premium Recruiting Board. But who are some others that kind of interest you that'll be on campus?
Yeah, I mean, two edge guys that really stand out to me. That I found out, talking to my FSU contacts and stuff that that I expect there. Toby Hostrup, who they've been involved with, they offered recently 4-star defensive end that certainly they like a lot. I think Texas A&M's been the team that I've heard the most around with his recruitment. I think there's a real shot. Like I said, there isn't. They don't have too many edge guys. That's a position that you got to feel like Peyton will probably be ready to go to the pros, and then certainly you'll have a chance of impact of playing in that defense. And if there's a lone bright spot, as far as my opinion of the team this year, I think the defense has kept them in a lot of games. Sacked Cam Ward 4 times last week, so I think if you have a production like that in this game coming up, I think it'll go a long ways as far as showing what your product can be in the future and how he would fit there. I think Toby would certainly be a guy. Washington, a guy visited earlier this year, Chase Linton, 4-star defensive end, one of the top defensive ends in the country, expected to officially visit there. Now, I do think Georgia is, like, I guess, the percepted heavy favorite, but I do think this Linton's a guy that's visited FSU before. He knows the program. Kind of same of that same mold of be the guy where you don't have to wait in line and wait your turn and stuff. I think he's a guy that could play and make an early impact at FSU and certainly get his name out there very quickly. And playing time and getting on the field is going to be something that I think they can heavily showcase as far as FSU and the recruiting aspect and just how they do things too. So I think those two really stand out to me. And then wide receiver Javion Boggs is expected to officially visit. That's one that out of all the visitors, to me, that's the one that I guess you could say excites me the most because that's one that I feel like impact wise, he can really move the needle with your room when you if you add him to the group. He's committed to UCF. Wouldn't stun me if his teammate Javion Hillison was also there for unofficial visit. But I think overall that would be a home run weekend. If you told me, Mike, you're going to get Javion, you're going to flip him, I think it'll be a home run weekend just because that's exactly what you're looking for as far as circling the weekend. So I think those are some of the main ones. I think it equals around 5 official visitors, and then 2. I think there could be an additional official visitor, I'm told, but until that's confirmed, set in stone, I'm not going to elaborate until we know for 100% fact. But there could be additional official visitors, but those are the kind of the guys that I was told that's kind of the expectation.
Just got to stay locked into that premium recruiting board for
Yeah.
updates when it comes to that. Before we sign off, I do want to talk about this because we talked about the defense a little bit in that last segment. And, this isn't something that, we can break off and make it its own video, but it is something
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up because it's positive. It's positive news. You
Yeah.
got the chance to catch up with linebacker commit Ethan Pritchard, and, man, he seemed
Yeah.
locked in with what he was saying. So kind of tell us what Ethan told you when you talked with him.
Yeah. I mean, I think Ethan had some, you see so much doom gloom and you're kind of like, oh man, you see it for yourself, just how bad it is. But then you think about, like, Ethan brings up stuff that, I didn't really think about. It's like, hey, Mike's fixed this before. When he took over, it was really bad. So, and Ethan was very sure that he can fix it, and he's very sure that he can help as far as what they're doing. I think, we're starting to see, some of the young guys emerge. If we're talking about bright spots like Omar Graham, certainly Ethan's watched him. Certainly sees the different things that some of these young guys are doing, and I think he feels like he can do some of the same stuff. It was intriguing that he told me he's playing mainly as a I want to call it like a outside linebacker, even though they call it Mike, but he's mainly the guy that they put on cover in covering guys. So he's mainly doing a lot of cover stuff, which says you a lot about how Seminole feels about his covering ability. If you're putting a linebacker out on, whether it's a big receiver or it's a tight end or somebody that's a pivotal weapon, I think that says a lot about his cover skills. He even told me some stuff I didn't know, which is he started his career as a safety.
Wow.
And when he was a freshman, and then he kind of went back to that freshman mark of kind of that's when Mike started this, where he told him like he's going to build it from the ground up, and I think Ethan believes in it, and we'll try to do more of those. Try to get up with some commits. Obviously, it's tough, and we don't want to make them feel uncomfortable because it's a tough season. But I'll try to do more of those. But I think for the most part, there's a good amount of there's commits in there that feel like, you know what, when we get there and we get things certified and Mike's going to fix and put everything in the right places, I think a lot of these recruits feel like they can do it. Now there's certainly stuff that it's gonna hurt you, where there's gonna be probably more decommits, but overall, I think decent portion of these recruits feel like, hey, we know Mike's gonna do whatever he needs to do to make it right because he's done it before, and that's kind of the whole summary of it all. I think that recruits see that he's done it before. Now, if it was a situation where they're 1-7 and they haven't been good under Mike at all, and they didn't go 13-0, and before that he win 10 games, I think maybe it would be tougher. But I think overall, the recruits seeing that he's already done it, I think makes them believe that he can do it again.
All right, Mike, I'm going to plug it one more time. Head over to that premium recruiting board for all the latest FSU recruiting news and discussion, and warchant.com. You see it on the bottom of your screen, your ultimate Seminoles sports source. For Michael Langston, I'm Ben Spicer. We'll see you back next time here on Warchant TV.